Hi, I'm Elisabel. I'm with CoreCollab, and I want to take you through a quick 30-minute full body workout on CoreCollab's Transformer. Let's do it. I want to get us through a hip mobility exercise. So let's just put our heels on the foot bar, hip width distance apart. Okay, so to find a tuck of our pelvis, let's just first with being in our neutral. So a neutral for anyone is different, but for me, my back is kind of lifted off, but not fully off. There's a little bit of a gap. For someone else, you might see in a bigger gap in between their back and the carriage. So find your neutral. Now let's roll off of our tailbone, pointing the seam of our pants up to the ceiling. And relax back to your neutral. Tuck your pelvis by sending your tailbone up towards the ceiling for your imprinted spine. So this is a big difference. Untucking, this is our neutral, and then our imprinted spine is when we tuck our pelvis. With that in mind, tuck your pelvis, find your imprint, and roll your hips up to the ceiling, standing in your hands, and then roll back down. So let's find our breath now. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, tuck your pelvis, roll your hips up to the ceiling. At the top, take an inhale. Exhale, roll yourself back down. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, roll up. Inhale at the top. Exhale, roll yourself back down. And when I mean roll, I mean articulating your spine. So you're one vertebrae at a time. Going on each one, you're touching each vertebrae. As you roll up and as you roll down. And you're standing in your hands are on the carriage, pressing into them. Good. Give me one more. One more, and then at this one, we're going to stay up, and we're going to float our right leg into tabletop and continue articulating in your bridge. So articulating your spine up and down. We're going to do that for 5. One more. Stay up. Point your toe to the ceiling. Your leg is straight up. And lower and lift your leg for 5. All right, float your leg back into tabletop, put your right foot down, and roll yourself back down, one vertebrae at a time. Let's do the other side. So you're going to roll your hips up to the ceiling, float your left leg to tabletop, articulating in your bridge for 5. Pressing in your hands. Take your breath with you. Take your breath with you. Stay up, point your toe to the ceiling, and lower lift just your leg over the foot bar for 5. All right. Float your leg back into tabletop, put that left foot down on the foot bar, and roll yourself back down. Nice. Okay. Now let's take into action with doing some footwork. I have 2 reds and a blue on. My shoulders are not jammed into the shoulder pads, but rather just resting beneath it. And we're going to start with our Pilates V. So the balls of our feet or your toes are on the foot bar itself. Our heels are together. We have a fist distance up. So our toes on the foot bar, fist distance apart. Our heels are together. Press your hands into the carriage to engage. Find a tuck in your pelvis. Your spine is imprinted. Inhale, press out. Exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, straighten your legs all the way. Bend your knees to close the carriage. Inhale, press out. You're lengthening through your legs from the top of your crown. Your knees are only opening shoulder distance apart. They're at the angle at which your foot is at. All right, close the carriage. Now let's move on to our arches. Our feet and legs are parallel and together. Our toes are curled over the foot bar. Imagine that you're a bird on a perch. So pressing your hands into the carriage again. Find an imprint of your spine. Your pelvis is tucked. Inhale, press yourself out. Exhale, bring it back in. Inhale, out. Exhale, in. Out. And in. Your foot might cramp up in this position. Embrace it. Honestly, this is one of my favorite footwork exercises to do with my clients because we don't live in this kind of flexion. It's good to put our foot into different positions. And this is one of them that we don't usually live in. Unless you're a dancer or a gymnast or anything like that where you need to point your toes. This is a really great exercise for that. One more. Close the carriage. Let's move on to our heels, flexing our ankles so our toes are to our nose. Pressing your hands into the carriage. Imprinted spine, inhale, press out. Exhale, bring it back in. You want to imagine that you're pressing your feet against a wall. So you're basically standing on a wall. Imagine that and keep that tension the entire time. So inhale out, exhale in. Inhale out, exhale in. And this is really light springs, but I think it's just a really great way to warm ourselves up and still challenge ourselves with the position of our feet. And also makes it more of an ab exercise. All right, one more. And bend your knees, close the carriage. Let's move on to the balls of our feet. Our feet and legs are still together in parallel. You're going to lift your heels like you're in a high heel, press yourself out, and then drop your heels so they wrap under the foot bar. And you're just going in between, lifting and lowering your heels. So lifting them so they're in parallel with the foot bar, and then lowering them so they're perpendicular to the foot bar. Making this one fluid motion. Try not to bounce the carriage around. And I'll drop your heels under the foot bar. Feel into that calf stretch. It feels really, really nice. And lift your heels. Nice. And drop them under. Good. Do that 2 more times with 1 breath for each. Bend your knees, close the carriage. All right, now let's roll ourselves up. Well, before we do that, stretch your legs over the foot bar and put your calves on the foot bar and just roll them out by moving them from side to side, going in opposite direction and the same direction. Good. Now, I want you to lift your legs over the foot bar and roll yourself up so you're in a teaser. Good. Take yourself to the side, and we're just going to do one red spring, and we're going to go into hundreds. So let's grab our straps. We'll be in the short loops. All right, float your legs into tabletop and find your imprinted spine. Pretend there's a bowl of soup on your pelvis. Pretend that you're spilling it towards your face. All right, with that in mind, your arms are straight up to the ceiling. Curl up and bring them down towards your hips and start beating your hands like you're beating a drum. Keep really strong wrists. And you're inhaling for 5, exhaling for 5. If you want to take this a little bit further, straighten your legs out to a 45-degree angle. Stay strong. 2 more breaths. Relax your head and your chest. Your legs go back into tabletop if you straighten them out. And bend your arms in so you can close the carriage. Drop the straps on either side of you. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Rocking from side to side or circling about your back. Good. Okay. Bring your legs over the foot bar. Lift them up an inch. Roll yourself up into teaser. Good. Move to the side, and we're going to add a yellow spring, so we're on 1 red and a yellow for our feet and straps. Bring your hips up so your feet come to the straps, not straps to the feet. All right, pressing our hands into the carriage, and we have an imprinted spine, so our soup is spilling on our pelvis. Let's just start with lowering, lifting our legs. Pilates V. Stay in your range of motion. So when you lower your legs down, don't let your back arch at all. Our back is imprinted the entire time. And when you lift your legs up, keep your hips heavy. So you're really just moving up and down from the femur in your hip socket. You're not leading with your feet, you're leading with your femur. And just that connection alone, that mind-body connection alone, really changes the way you think about this exercise and all of the feet and strap exercises. All right, stop halfway, bend your knees in, still in your Pilates V, and straighten them out for frog. Bend your knees in, shoulder width distance apart, and press them out, lengthen your legs. Inhale, bend. Exhale, out. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten them out. And your inner thighs are like magnets, so they have to come together when you straighten your legs out. They meet first before any other part of your leg. And breath is so, so important in Pilates. You want to imagine that your lungs are like two sets of balloons. You're inhaling to expand them. Then exhaling, you're letting all of the air out in your lungs. And this really helps us find a better connection to our abdominals and all sets of the abdominals, not just, the abdominals that you see in the mirror. Those are honestly the least important ones. Your transverse abdominals are key to a strong core, and it's part of our powerhouse. All right, one more. Stay out. Your legs are lengthened out. Bring your legs together so they're over your hips, and then take them out, separate them, bring them together at the bottom. Again, leg circles. So your feet are stacked above your hips. Open your legs out to the sides of the room. Circle them down, then bring them up. So out, down, up, out, down, up. And such a key thing in leg circles is to stay in control of the springs and the straps. Be very intentional with how your feet are meeting. Your inner thighs are like magnets. They're meeting first before your feet. Out, down, in. Good. Take your breath with you. Reverse your circle. So now your legs are together, stacked above your hips. Bring them down, still together. Take them out, and they meet above your hips. Down, out, up, down, out, up. Take your breath with you. Your hands are still pressing into the carriage. Keep that engagement. Stay in control of the straps. And you're only lowering your legs as much to keep your imprinted spine. This is so, so important. It protects your lower back. It also helps you gain control of the straps and the springs. All right. This is our last one. Down, out, up. All right. Bend your right leg in towards your pelvis and send your left leg out to the side for Peter Pan. So your feet are honestly pointing in the same direction. Good. Bring your left leg in, your right leg out. Ooh. Really feel into that stretch. Feels so good. All right, bend your right leg in. And let's take off the straps. Before we go into some arm work, let's bring our feet and let's bring our legs over the foot bar. Lift them an inch. And then roll yourself up into teaser. And move yourself to the side so you can take off that yellow spring, and we'll just be on one red. Right, grab your straps. You can be on either short or long. I will be on short for today. Put your legs into tabletop. Your arms are straight up to the ceiling. Press your palms down towards the floor. And then lift them up. Press them down towards your hips. And lift them up so they're pointed to the ceiling. Inhaling, pressing down. Exhaling, resetting. Good. If you want to challenge yourself today, when you press your hands down, lift your chest up into an ab curl, and then lower your chest down when you bring your arms up. Down, lift up, lay yourself back down. And feel free to not do that. It's just a progression for the ones that feel they need it. And then stay in your ab curl and continue that lowering and lifting of your arms. Staring at your belly button, your soup is spilling. You have an imprinted spine. Good. If you want to take it even further, you can straighten your legs out to a 45-degree angle, still in your ab curl. All right, bend the knees in and bend your arms so your elbows are bent by your sides. And we're going to float our legs back into tabletop. Our elbows are hugging our ribs. Press your palms down towards the floor for triceps. Bend your arms to bring them back into our starting position. Inhale, press your palms down towards the floor. Exhale, bend your arms to a 90-degree angle. Good. Inhale, press down. Exhale, up. Inhale, down and up. If you want to take it up, you can stay in an ab curl while you are in this tricep movement. And if you want to progress even more, straighten your legs out to a 45 and continue pressing down and up. All right, lower your chest, bend your knees in, and tee out your arms so they're tee out your arms to either side of you, and you're going to sweep your hands in towards your hips and reset with your arms teed out. Inhale, press them in. Exhale, out. Inhale in. Exhale, out. And we won't ab curl for this. But if you want to take it out even further, you can straighten your legs out to 45 degrees. Keep your spine imprinted though. So if your spine comes up at all, don't do this. One more. All right, bend your knees in, bend your arms to close the carriage. Good job. All right. We're just going to do one more thing. We're just going to go into mermaid, which is everyone's favorite part of any class, the cool down. All right. So you're sitting on your reformer facing the right side of your room. And then you're going to bring your shins, your left shin, so it's up against both shoulder pads, and then your right foot is against your thigh. Make sure that both your hips are anchored down into the carriage. I'm going to bring my right hand to the foot bar, straighten my arm out, lean over to the right side, and imagine that you're in between two planes of glass. You have to stay in one plane of motion from side to side. So try to be cognizant of whether you're leaning forward or backwards. All right. Now you're going to close the carriage, and you're going to lean over to the left side. We're going to do that 2 more times. Right hand back to the foot bar, Lean over to the right side. Your left arm is by your ear. Your left bicep is by your ear. Breathe into your left lung. All right, stack your torso up and then bend over to the left side. Your right bicep is by your ear. And again, stack your torso, right hand to the foot bar, lean over to the right side. Breathe into your left lung. Now bring your left hand to the foot bar, twist your torso, twist out your waist to face the springs. Just really lean into that. Feels really good on the left side of your body, at least for me. Now bend your arms. To close the carriage, lift your head and your chest. Beautiful. Let's do the other side. So now we're facing the left side of the room. Our right shin is up against the shoulder pads, and my left foot is on my thigh, my right thigh. My left hand is at the foot bar. I'm leaning over towards that foot bar with my right side, right arm. My right bicep is right by my ear. And breathe into your right lung. Stack your torso up. Close the carriage, bend over to the right. Breathing into your left lung. And stack yourself back up. Leaning over to the left side. Nice. Now take your right hand to the foot bar and twist at your waist, face the springs. I wish there was a way that you could replicate this now on a reformer because it just feels so amazing. Good. Now bend your arms to bring your head closer to the foot bar. Lift your head and your chest to close the carriage. It's like a little mini swan. Okay. So I would say that wraps up about 30 minutes. Let me know what you think of this reformer exercise. It's more of a classical sequence, but it's full body and it's really efficient and it gets you up and moving. Your blood is pumping, your heart is beating, but it's also low impact and not sweaty. All right, thank you so much. And please, again, give a like and a subscribe so I can continue making these videos. And see you next time.